Good evening, Dungeon Masters, I'm Baron Durop. So how often does this happen to you? Your friends will be over in less than 15 minutes to play Dungeons & Dragons, and you have absolutely nothing prepared. Fortunately, that's all the time you need. A top-shelf adventure always involves a plot twist that turns out to be more than initially met the eye. The narrative depth gained from a complex or morally gray situation sets up any great adventure's intrigue. Typical random adventure prompt generators like from Donjon or Chaotic Shiny generally fall short in providing this depth. And this is because, ironically, generating a quest hook first is a backwards way to go about adventure design. A more apt method is to first figure out what your adventure's central tension is, and then establish your quest hooks based on that tension. To quickly get some inspiration for this tension, use any random encounter generator you like, roll up 2 of them, and smash them together to see how they might conflict with one another. This conflict establishes the mystery of your adventure's intrigue, and prevents you from sending your party on a fetch quest for 16 pairs of goblin ears for the constable. As an example, I've rolled up 2 random ones here, a cave bear and some animated caryatid statues. This is an unusual combination for sure, but we can work with it. How would these 2 encounters come into conflict? Perhaps there's an abandoned temple in your forest near the player's starting village. A family of cave bears have been known to take up hibernation in the ruins, but suddenly the bears are attacking the village in the middle of the winter. It turns out that someone or something has enchanted the ruins columns, turned them into golems, and this is preventing the bears' hibernation. This conflict between the bears and the animated statues sets up a series of quest hooks you can now throw at your players. Now that we've established the adventure's problem, we're only a few questions away from a series of plot hooks. These are: what happens to the villagers if the waylaid bears remain unchecked during this winter? Who was the spellcaster that enchanted the golems? And lastly, what's in the temple ruin the bears hibernate in? All of these questions lead to very different, sometimes adversarial quest hooks. For starters, the bears have gone entirely feral and are even hunting the villagers' children. Stopping the bears is thus paramount. Not just anyone can tango with the bears though, and the traveling old lady who sells oddities and medicinal herbs from her cart is counting on that. She's the one who enchanted the caryatids, turning them into golems to drive the bears away from the temple and attack the village. She believes that there's a magic item inside the ruin, and she's willing to pay the party to fetch it, just to keep her hands clean of the sacrilege and avoid the town's ire. But if the party lollygags about and the bears are no longer a threat thanks to the town's ranger, she'll have to skip out before the villagers find out about her clandestine plans. Most specifically, she doesn't want Roderick the Ranger, the local bushman, to figure her out, who is also looking for help dealing with the beasts. If the bears are slain or pacified by the ranger, the hag's excuse to hide in the inn from the bears expires. In summary, when you have so many plot threads to pull, you can throw all of them at the party and see which one the party's most interested to pick up on first. The players can track down and slay the bears, figure out a way to help Roderick pacify them, or help the old hag steal the magic item. There's lots to choose from here. So we have the central tension and we have a few quest hooks. Now we need to draft up the dungeon. Fortunately, this doesn't take much effort. Just make note of what the dungeon historically was and what its current use cases are. Bullet point all of those attributes that come into play and shove them all into the same map. A ruined temple needs a sanctuary with an altar, and since it's storing some kind of magic item the hag wants, it needs a basement storage room, likely with a locked door or 2. The bears need an obvious hibernation spot, so they've drug cushions from the pews into the warmest corners of the worship area for makeshift bedding. The animated statues were part of the temple anyway, so we don't really need anything for them. A few caryatids roaming around outside, and perhaps a few more in the basement are all we need. For a bit of interest, be sure to add an environmental effect to one of the combats. A partially collapsing ceiling on the combat's second turn is a fun way to shift the basement floor into difficult terrain after the party takes 3d6 bludgeoning damage or dex saves for half. Lastly, Roderick the Ranger is likely some kind of Karen, and he'll show up at the end of the adventure to protect the traditional status quo of the dungeon. Whatever the players do over the course of the adventure, like killing the bears, taking the magic items, or destroying all the statues, all of this is offensive to him. That said, a player with a silver tongue might be able to avoid the final combat encounter with Roderick and his pack of hunting dogs. Lastly, don't forget to toss in a hag's missing scarf outside of the temple, just in case the players need reminder that she was up to no good. So skip the adventure prompt generator and throw 2 random encounters into a blender to see what conflicts arise. Establish your quest hooks by pondering how those conflicts might spill into the PC's lap. Throw any narrative requirements of those quest hooks into a simple dungeon, and you'll have your adventure prepared in under 15 minutes. Thanks for watching, Dungeon Masters, and until next time, good night.